Okay. Namaste and welcome to this short program. And the main purpose of this program is to release a small booklet which I wrote. It's called Ishwarapranidhana Sutrani. So that is my second Sanskrit composition. And Dr. Thite found some couple of mistakes in it. So that is much better than in the past. So apart from that, I will also introduce some people to you. And we are also going to felicitate one artist who has helped me for last almost 10 years. So we will now start this program with 12 ohms. Okay? Long, sweet, and soft. Start. Oh. Oh. One last. Okay, so now I will introduce some people to you. On my left, this person, his name is Sri Ram, and he is a genuine artist. And he has drawn almost all my books. The covers are done by him. Also, all the pictures you will see in the photographs, which I will post later in this room, they are drawn by him. And he is a very peculiar person that every day he is drawing. So whenever I feel lazy, I go to his house. So when I see him drawing, then I become slightly inspired in my own work. So he is a very dedicated artist, and he's definitely not working for money. He has a very small house. So this is Sriram Bokil, his name. So if you are interested in any artwork, he is open to taking that work. And so he is short of hearing now, so he's not hearing everything. So I will be felicitating him little later. Then just behind me is my Sanskrit teacher. You have seen him many times. His name is Dr. Thite, and I'm studying with him for last 53 years. And he told me that a real Sanskrit scholar should be Vikrut. So far I have not become Vikrut. So I think I don't know. I have to study until I become Vikrut, according to you. And on my right side is Dr. Lauren Bosch. She is from California, and she's a professor in one university.
Brown Buddhist University.
What is the first word?
Dharma Brown.
Dharma.
Realm.
Dharma Realm
Buddhist.
Buddhist University, and it is in
California, USA.
it is in California. So again, her name is Lauren Bosch. LAUREN BAUSCH. So if you are interested in studying Sanskrit, Buddhism, or California, you can talk to her. So later she might speak for a couple of minutes. So my name you already know. If you do not know my name, you should go to adiyoga.com. ADHIYOGA.com. This word Adi Yoga was created by Dr. Thite because my original system was called Authentic Yoga, and Authentic Yoga word was not used by anyone. I had checked it in the pattern database. But then after I started using it, within 2 years, I saw that many schools are starting to use that word, including the Indian government started using it. So then he created this Sanskrit word, and it is not Adi Yoga, it is not ADI, it is Adhi Yoga, ADHI, and Adi means Adhikrut, which is authentic. So adhiyoga.com, and there is another website where I do some social work. So there are some children I'm helping and some ladies also. So now I will introduce some of the children who are here. This is Saloni.
Hi.
And I met her in one municipal school around 8 or 10 years ago. And she has done yoga teacher training. She has completed 200-hour international certification. She is very good in yoga, exercises especially. And now she is doing business administration, right? She's studying business administration. So if you want some student, Indian to teach there, she can come to your country. She said that she's ready to go to any country, correct? स्वतः बोलशील का? This is Pragati. She looks the same size, but actually she is much younger than her. She is how many years old?
50.
She's 15 years old, and 2 years ago I saw her in one municipal school, and I saw that she is very good in studies. So I put her in another private school, and she's doing, of course, very good there. But I'm trying to get her to study more. So I think she's getting challenged, and her parents will come now. So she is very good in yoga, and what else? Speech and Sangna. जोरात सांग तिथे. जोरात.
Rhymes
हा.
and maths.
This is Pragati's brother. He is very good in art. And did you bring anything to show? Huh? Okay, he's very good in art. In the last program, he showed his art. He's really good in art. And next time you bring your artwork, okay? And he likes yogurt. He eats a lot of yogurt every day. Correct? Okay. आता तुम्ही पण या. खाली बसता येईल का नुसतं? This is Pragati's father. and he works in one electric manufacturing firm, and he wants his daughter to become prime minister.
Oh.
So he's working, he's working very, very hard for that. But he has to know some other aspects of becoming prime minister. Only working hard will not work. She has to be able to give speech. Okay? स्पीच देता आलं पाहिजे तर प्राईम मिनिस्टर होतो. कळलं का? तुम्हाला बोलायचंय काही सांगायचं? ओके. इज व्हेरी गुड. This is Pavitra's mother, and she is working in the not government, private hospital. She's working in the hospitals and she makes very, very good food. So I generally don't give it to others. I eat it myself. And she's working in the hospital to support the children for their education. So both of them are currently in the peak of their hard work, which I did when I was around 30-40 years ago. I did the same. But now I'm not hardworking. Okay, so the introduction part is over. And if you want anything more, you can email me or message me some other ways, Facebook message, etc. So now I will start with one prayer, which will take long time. So Ganesh is my deity, so that's why I'm taking this prayer. ये बोलना पता है. ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः. वक्रतुंड महाकाय कोटिसूर्य समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः. ओम स्वस्ति न इंद्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु. ओम तन्मा अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्. ओम शांति शांति शांति. So the first part of this prayer was for Ganesh to bless whatever we are doing for the success of that thing. And incidentally, the Ganesh festival is supposed to start in 1 or 2 days. And the entire environment in my city is now filled with the festivity. So that's why I brought this Ganesh statue, and there is another thing which Dr. Kite will tell us about. And this Ganesh statue, I'll give it to Saloni later. She is the devotee of Ganesh. And the second part of the prayer is for the well-being of the entire universe. Now, this program is supposed to release one book called Ishwarapranidhana Sutrani, and I have not discussed with Dr. Thite about Ishwar or a concept of Ishwar. So before I talk about my book, I want Dr. Thite to tell us something about this Ishwar concept, how it originated, and so on. Then I will tell you why I wrote this book and what is my ideas in that book. Thank you.
Friends, today we are going to release a book called Ishwarapranidhana Sutrani. This book deals with the concept of Ishwara, and even Ishwara can be translated into English, God. Even Ishwara literally means powerful or one who controls. So God is supposed to be omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. All these ideas are very well known. The concept of God is based upon the speculations about the origin of the world. How the world was originated? Who created this world? That is the question which is being faced by every thinking man. We know that in the world there is some kind of cause and effect relationship. But how that cause and effect relationship also is created? That is the question. Who created it? And why there are sometimes accidents, sometimes these accidents are good, sometimes they are bad. And we face some calamities also sometimes. Suddenly there is heavy rain, there are floods, there are some other calamities like earthquake and so on. Although science has made a lot of progress and we have controlled many diseases, we have made human life far more better than it was, say, 50 years ago. But still the difficulties are not over. And even a rich man, a very intelligent man, a very powerful man also suddenly gets some calamities. Then he feels that God is angry with him. And therefore he has made, he has created this difficulty. And then one starts praying God, and it is believed that the God will remove the calamities, he will bless the human being, and ultimately man will be happy. So, in short, the fear, which is one of the basic instincts of a human being, is at the origin of the concept of God. If there would be no fear, perhaps there will be no need of God. But in spite of lot of progress, the fear is not totally removed, and therefore there are all numerous people who believe in God. There are a few people who used to be atheistic, who are now even atheistic, or maybe even in future there will be some atheistic people. But majority of the people believe in God. They believe in some superpower, which is made with different words in different religions. There are numerous concepts about the nature of God in different religions. They also do not agree with each other, and that also leads sometimes to some religious quarrels among the people. So although all people believe in God, still there is no unanimous agreement between one religion and another religion. But of course, the philosophers try to explain and analyze the concept of God, concept of Ishwara. In India also, there are numerous philosophical systems. Some accept the concept of God, some do not accept the concept of God. Now, for example, Buddhism and Jainism do not accept the concept of God in their philosophy. But in practice, the followers of Buddhism or Jainism, they deify the founders of their philosophical systems, for example, Buddha or Mahavira, and then they consider Buddha or Mahavira to be almost like God. And they pray, they worship, they make religious activities in praise of these founders. So although the concept of God is different in different philosophical systems or religious ways of thinking, there is a basic concept of God. Now, as far as the yoga philosophy is considered, it is mostly based upon Sankhya way of thinking. The Sankhya philosophy also does not accept the concept of God. So the yoga philosophy added the concept of God to the Sankhya philosophy. And therefore, sometimes yoga philosophy is described as a version of Sankhya philosophy with Ishwara or with God. So those who are interested in the theory and practice of yoga, they have to contemplate upon God. This is one of the ways of trying to get mental peace and concentration of mind, which is described as samadhi in yoga system. So in order to achieve the ultimate aim, that is samadhi, mental concentration, which is almost equivalent to the salvation, the concept of God is very important and it plays a vital role there. So, all such points have been briefly mentioned in this book, and they are mentioned in a style which is called aphorisms. The Sanskrit word for aphorism is sutra. Sutra literally means thread, but it is a kind of style of writing of Sanskrit authors. They mention the main points in sutras, and the commentators explain the meaning of those sutras. So, in this book, the concept of God is mentioned in a very brief manner and precise manner. So those who are students of yoga philosophy, and the students of Indian philosophy in general also may find this book to be very interesting, and they will read, not only read, but remember all the details in this book, which will be helpful for them to meditate upon God. So Ishwarapranidhana, Pranidhana means meditation. Meditation of God. Meditation on God. That is the main topic of this book. So now this book will be released, and all of the readers who are online or offline, they may read this book with a great profit. That is what I feel. So thank you very much for your patient listening to my speech.
Thank you very much to Dr. Thide. And I will like to say something now, which is somewhat related to Lorraine. That as you know that my idea of studying Patanjali Sutras is the step one is to memorize them, and second step is to sing them many times with that meaning of that sutras. So second step is to know the meaning, and the third step is to chant them with the meaning. So I have myself chanted them 16,000 times or more with the meaning. And I do not understand why, but somehow it took me only 1 month to memorize them. Uh, I'm not Ekapati or like that. But when I read the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, maybe I read them in the last life. I got them immediately. But anyway, when I chanted them with the meaning, then I taught it to the various students of master's degree, PhD degree, etc. And then I found out some uh, problems with the sutras. But before that, the problem which I found is that for those people who are not knowing Sanskrit, it is very difficult for them to know the meaning of the sutras. So what I did was I translated those sutras in English, but is somewhat like a sutra form in English. And Lauren Bosch had edited that, or she had corrected the English. Sorry, she had read my English translation and she had corrected that. I remember it. And then I also created an audio of that English sutras. So that's when somehow I connected with her in terms of his studies of, study related. Before that, I only knew her, and then yoga once or twice she came to my lesson. So I would like to ask her whether she would like to say something. You can say whatever you like. You don't have to say about me or
Okay.
in general, Dr. Tite's lecture or Patanjali or any Buddhism, anything.
I would just like to take this opportunity to congratulate Neil on the publication of this new book, and to also commend him for integrating what he has learned through this embodiment of yoga practice and sharing that with others. I think it's not enough to just learn something in your head. These practices, especially yoga, is meant to be really taken in physically through everyday asana practice, and also through, as Neil has done, this integration into one's life. This is a philosophy at Dharma Ram Buddhist University where we do both study and practice. And I can see that also in Neil's approach, where this has become, the central part of his life. And as a result, he has this kind of understanding that he would like to share with others, but it's really coming from his own experience. And I think this is something very valuable and something that we can also learn from, in a sense, where we make time. We make time for our practice. We make time to understand things more. And to, as you said, to memorize the text, study the meaning, and then go beyond that to see what else is still there to be learned, to be discovered. And it's an ongoing journey. So congratulations to Neil for this new work, and to all of his students who will come and learn from him in Kerala. I think he will benefit from this and what is going to come from his future. study and practice.
Thank you very much. So, what I want to tell you is that my yoga practice, as well as my knowledge, is blessed by my father. I started doing the yoga from the age of 5, and I was very lucky because I had Sanskrit teachers, philosophy teachers, and my father was himself very accomplished yogi. So that example was there. And even Dr. Tite, I think I met when I was 13 years old, perhaps 13, yeah, around 13 years old. So I know him from that time. Now, what I want to tell you is about the Ishwara part related to yoga. See, Yoga Sutras is considered as a standard text on Indian classical yoga philosophy. And that philosophy, as Dr. Tite said, it is almost totally based on Sankhya Karika, which is Sankhya Darshan. And he has added this Ishwar concept. The first problem I had with the Patanjali was he doesn't give the source of where he's coming from. And that is why there is a misunderstanding in lot of yoga people that Patanjali invented yoga, or he is the father of yoga or mother of yoga or whatever it is. And especially many people who have never studied Sanskrit or Sanskrit related texts, but they are very, very good in the yoga exercises like asanas, etc. They have respected Patanjali just as a symbol, and they are telling people that Patanjali did everything and Patanjali is telling asanas, etc. So what happens is that uh, they do not know that the Patanjali has added this Ishwar element, but he has not said where he got it from. So I believe that he got it from the Vedanta philosophy, that is from Upanishad, etc. Maybe Ishavasya Upanishad is the first place. Now, the second problem I found with Patanjali was he said he has laid out a very systematic eightfold system of achieving samadhi and then later on kaivalya. So in that system, he has given yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So his system, he says, is very, it is obviously very difficult system to follow 100%. And he also says that this system is meant for Tivra Samveg. That means somebody who has very strong intention to achieve that. And it is going to require a lot of effort. And then he says Ishwarapranidhana va. That means that those who do not have this strong strength or strong capability to follow this eightfold path, they can go to Ishwarapranidhana, means surrender to Ishwar and to the contemplation. But my first argument is that if that Ishwarapranidhana is much easier, then even the people with the strong intention will go for that only. No, like suppose the television is one television is $1,000 and the same television is available for $1 in another shop. Even the rich people will go to the that $1 shop only. So he has said that Ishwarapranidhana va means or, which I think I have objection to. Second is I'm not going to explain to you now, but he has given 3 different places about Ishwar, and there is a contradiction in them because he has included Ishwar in the niyamas. If it is a complete alternative to Ashtanga Yoga, he should not put the Ishwar Pranidhan inside the Ashtanga Yoga. So anyway, another thing he has done is the Ishwara's definition is given as mainly as a certain with certain descriptions, klesha, karma, etc. Now he has said that for Ishwar Pranidhan, the only thing you have to do is chant the Om with the meaning. So what I did was, in my Patanjali Code book, where I have reformed the entire Patanjali Yoga Sutras by adding 30 sutras to that one has to read it completely. That makes the Patanjali Sutras understood very fast, because I have added the elements which are not there and certain things I have modified. and reorganize it in such a way that it becomes systematically chronological understanding is there. So anyway, the Ishwara is redefined in my sutras. And of course, that is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. And then what I noticed from my practice as well as my studies with other teachers, as well as my observations around the world, is that Ishwara concept, though it has become a religious matter, if one thinks neutrally, everybody has some Ishwar concept in them, because even if you want to get suppose you want to become a president, of United States, so you have to have something like you have to consider somebody is more powerful than you, whom you have to surrender to, like you have to be under somebody's rule to get to the higher stage. That's how everybody has a feeling in their mind that they are not in charge of things happening. There is definitely something which is beyond their control, and those things which are totally beyond their control. Like, for example, suppose the lady is going to marry. She doesn't know whether she will get a boy or a girl later. That is totally beyond her control. But there are some things which look like under our control, but even they are not within our control. For example, suppose you study for exam and you you wish to get suppose 90% or beyond 90% marks in the exam. It's not under your control. You might get 89. So everybody knows that there is something beyond them which possibly has that power, because they want to give a reason to that. They have to give a reason to that. Not that they are always fearful, but they want to give a reason why they got less. Also, another thing you have to understand is that there are certain things happening in the nature. Like every morning, sun comes, every evening, sun sets, and certain formulas are already in place. So there has to be somebody or something which has created those formulas. It's not possible that they just are there. Just are there is not an argument. It is just a fact. But logical argument will be that there is somebody who has created them. So anyway, considering these factors, I have defined that Ishwar there in Patanjali code as well as in my book. And then what I noticed is that this concept of Ishwar is there in all the places, in all religions, all systems of philosophy. They have a concept of Ishwar in some form. It doesn't have to be a god only, like it doesn't have to be a religious concept. It is a neutral concept where they are worshiping that. That is why somebody like Buddha Dev is actually Buddha, and then it's called Buddha Dev. Dev means God. So this they are doing it because they believe that Buddha Dev has something which they don't have, which nobody else has. Similarly, with probably Mahavir Jain or Allah, everybody knows La ilaha illallahi Muhammadur Rasulullah, etc. There is definitely that Allah concept is there, and then Christians also believe that you have to surrender to Jesus and all the problems will be solved. So this way, I found that this Ishwar concept is there in all of them, and this entire understanding I have put it in my sutra form. Even Hatha Yoga ultimately takes you to the Raja Yoga, because Hatha Yoga is not understood by many teachers. I saw that even world famous teachers do not know Hatha Yoga, because they don't know what the meaning of Hatha is. They think Ha means sun and Tha means moon. No, that's a metaphor. Hatha means the force. So that Hatha Yoga, when I taught that Hatha Yoga, I saw that the whole thing is somewhat misconstrued. So what I did was I wrote Hatha Yoga Sutras last year, and those are already accepted by many students as understanding wise. So Hata basically means a force, and they're forcing the prana into the Sushumna. That is the real force. And ultimately, what happens is that when the Kundalini reaches the top, you do not get enlightened. The only thing happens is that your mind is very peaceful and totally thoughtless. That thoughtless mind is to be focused later in the Raja Yoga to get the enlightenment. So, and on the way, when the Kundalini is raised, it can create other problems. So, anyway, Hatha Yoga is somewhat dangerous. And so, this is just to show you that Hatha Yoga also ultimately has got Ishwar concept. You will see that at the beginning of Hatha Yoga, they are praying to their gurus and they are saying without the gurus nothing will happen, etc. And at the end also constantly the God's name is coming there. The God is called Adi. Some people think it is Shiva. Some people think it is the. There are some people who even think that it is Patanjali, but definitely Shiva and there's one more there. So these two, they are considering that they are those Dattatreya. So these are considered as the God in the Hatha Yoga. So what I wish to tell you is that what I have done in my book is I have given a neutral definition of Ishwara, which is definitely more comprehensive than Patanjali. And that Ishwarapranidhana, that Pranidhan also I have expanded because depending on the person's background, they will surrender that way. So it is like you say Namaste in India, which has a different connotation than hello in English. But basically, at the heart of their core, they mean the same thing. They really want to acknowledge each other. So one is saying hello and another is saying namaste. Namaste may appear slightly more sophisticated word, but basically both of them are doing the same. So what I have done is that the Ishwar Pradidhan, when a yoga practitioner does it, that Ishwar Pradidhan they will do based on their background. If they are born in a Catholic family, they are likely to do a Ishwar Pradidhan to Jesus Christ, and they will have their own method of doing it. Whether they are born in South India, they will do in South Indian way. So this way, I have taken liberty to define the Ishwar Pradidhan also in a very broad way. So my idea is that this Ishwar and Pranidhan I told you already. Now, why I am writing these sutras is, according to me, Ishwar Pranidhan is a mandatory element of yoga. Because the main thing about the yoga is that at the end, if you want to achieve the Kaivalya, you have to get rid of the ego completely. And the human ego is very, very difficult to eradicate. So the removal of ego is possible only when you surrender to something higher, whether it is a guru or whether it is God or whatever it is. It can be just a stone. But you have to surrender your ego, and that surrender is possible only that ego eradication is possible only if you surrender. Without the surrender, the ego will never disappear, and that is the struggle a lot of Advaita people are going through. And even the Adi Shankaracharya or whatever his followers, they have written thousands of prayers after he left. Or I don't know whether he himself wrote Mahishasura Stotram, but they have a lot of prayer that they say that there is nothing other than Brahman, but then they are singing the Ganapati Mahapanchakam and they are singing the Mahishasura Stotra, etc., where they are describing the goddess in a form. So the Ishwar Pranidhan, which I defined, is form, formless, mixture, and based on your background. So that's all I want to say. Thank you very much. So, is there anything you want to say, Anshuman? Anshuman?
Thank you very much, sir. I think very nice explanation. The concept of, you told that across all the religions, the concept of God or Ishwar is there, which is true, sir. and even Buddhism also, for that matter. I mean, it is not different. So I think very deep points. Even the importance of surrender. So in many of the traditions, you surrender to the guru or the lineage. So I think very deep. I am looking forward to the book, sir, and I'll share my feedback also. But very important concept, sir. If there is definitely a superpower or uh, a universal intelligence which governs everything. So quite keen to know more about it, sir.
Thank you. Madhuri, you want to say anything?
No,
Okay, all right. So thank you
I was
very much for
listening.
listening to me. Now I will ask Lauren Bosch and Dr. Thide combined to release my book, and I will pick the book. So I just want to tell you that currently what I have done is I only found the sutras and I translated them into English, and also some of the sutras I have written very small commentary. Rest of those which are missing the commentary is a homework for my students, and I will start writing commentary from tomorrow. I think that there will be 6 big books out of these sutras will come out in next 6 to 10 years. So that will be probably my last work. But I just want to thank Dr. Mans Brew, who is a fellow of Oxford Hinduism Studies, and he is also a lecturer in Abo Academy in Finland. He is an expert on Patanjali Sutras, and he also knows Sanskrit very well. So he has given a preface to my book. So I really thank him. I saw him only once in my life in Bombay. So now I will bring the book. The photo samne pa hai. So this is how the book looks like. And this is खाली बसा. Thank you very much. You can keep that. Thank you for yourself. I'll show you from close distance. This picture is also drawn by Leonardo di Pune, Sriram Bokil, and the back side is also done by him. And this is I think one of the last verse from Bhagavad Gita, which says Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. So that is direct reflection of Ishwarapranidhana. And Dr. Thite has corrected the Sanskrit. Thank you very much. Now I will be giving this Vedana. इधर the pillar है.
Thank you.
Okay, now I will give I will give these flowers to the girls. इकडे बस. हा, चालेल. There are many of my American students who are interested in this girl. So I told them directly talk to her father. Huh? नहीं है ना इला. This girl is. I'm going to take it to mother with me. Okay. Now we are going to felicitate Leo. तर आता त्यांना चालू करा.
पुन्हा बसूनच राहतो मी असं वाटतं मला त्याशिवाय ते
चालेल ना बस.
येणार नाही. अरे
खाली बसा.
काय करतो मी बसून उभा करू.
I want to tell you that Sriram Bokil, when he draws the pictures, he can even draw the pictures based on your book. Like there are many people from France even that they have told him the story, and from that story he has drawn the pictures which match with what they are saying. And all his pictures are very famous. That means he is able to recreate that story through that. Those pictures. So if you look at the pictures, they match with the story. That's a very difficult skill. And if you go to his room, it is around 1/4 of this size. It is all full of pictures. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, तुम्हाला काय बोलायचं आहे? Okay. Now we will go for snacks. So if anybody wants snacks, they have to come here. So I'll now conclude it with just one line shlok. Sarvetra sukhinas santu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Serena Serena Serena. Om Wonderful Wonderful Wonderful. Thanks.